Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, dear Dhamma friends, in this spiritual practice, most of time we hear the base or the foundation should be the Shraddha, the confidence. Confidence regarding the teachings, and that the teachings will develop a kind of the clarity inside you. But the thing is this, when it comes to intelligence, so when it comes to wisdom word, so if you have a certain kind of idea or intention or kind of like a practice or kind of like another methods already you follow, with that you cannot develop your mind to the highest. So this is something special to the world before the Buddha, and the people didn't know that, and people used to develop enormous strength towards the bhakti. The bhakti words still in the world hold a very huge space, and people devote their entire life when we get into this bhakti pattern. But the thing is this, when you have the bhakti towards a personality or towards a person or towards something or towards some teaching, with that the idea, you cannot experience the truth in this very moment. So that is something very, very special to the Buddha's teaching. So you have to be very sharp to catch this. Because what the Buddha said is, you have your own mind, you have the capacity to experience what is happening in this very moment within yourself. But the thing, when you have the bhakti or when you have the devotion towards something or somebody or some power, that already that gave somebody as an idea, with that idea, when you start to observe, when you put the attention, your mind cannot function to the highest. Because the very nature of the mind always depending with the ideas. So in the Buddhism, it called Chitta Chaitasika. So the Chitta means in the shallow level of the mind that you can divide things to. That is called Chitta. You can divide anything that come to your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind as name or form. When the Chitta rise as a pattern, in the certain level, you start to experience this everything as whole, the all. So as example, when we take the pen, and it has a different parts, so it like a chitta, but we represent it as a one entity, it called pen. So that entity is the consciousness. So then this the Chaitasika or the mental formations or the chitta, this all together bound is like a net. You cannot separate each other. But the thing is this, that when your mind already has something, you already believe, or you already have the faith regarding something, your mind is not free to experience something new. So as example, just take, you have the idea about the Buddha. So then you say, or you think, oh, the Buddha said like this. And with that idea, when you start to look, your mind is not free itself. Why? Because your mind has the idea already bound to what the Buddha said. So then the mind cannot function to its highest. So that freedom you have to get to experience the truth. How you can do that? Because that's why in this the world, that when we come to this world and with the culture, tradition, teachings, it is everything already gave to us. So if you look for, if you have the idea about the Nibbana, you cannot find it. Why? Because the idea that you carry already regarding the Nibbana itself block you from the Nibbana. So there is a person in front of you. And then you have an idea that I wanna recognize this person as it is. So if you have that idea, you cannot bound to any kind of any other things regarding that person. You have to accept that person, whatever as it is, whoever as it is. But if you think, I want to accept this person as a good person, you cannot get that person. So intelligence means you allow, you drop all your past, previous, that habitual patterns, and you allow your mind to function in that very moment without depending from any idea. And when the mind able to function to highest, in that very moment, it has capacity to see how things come to be as they are. So why we cannot get that? The reason is this: we have idea, I was like this, so that's why I am like this, and I will be like this. So this continuation of the mental formations block us from the truth. So I was like this, that's why I am like this, and then I will be like that. So if for anything in the world, we have this. So we, in a certain level, we say it as a common sense. It's like when you see very dark cloud sky, that will take you to understand it's going to be rain. So that's common sense. But when what I am telling, it is not intelligence. When you become intelligence, that doesn't mean just become cloudy, it's going to become change. You not get into, when you see the dark cloud, you not get into to disturb your present moment, thinking it's going to become rain. But when the rain happening, you recognizing the rain in this very moment, and you accept it. But in day-to-day life, it not, you think when you hear like that, you think it is very simple. But in day-to-day life, it's not going to happen to us like that way. So that's why, so as example, when you hear something or some situation or somebody, maybe with the past experience or whatever happened with another person, when you meet that person tomorrow, you cannot drop that mindset and accept that person as a completely new person in a new moment. You think it was like this. That person did something like that. So because of that, that person going to be like this. But in a deeper level, when you are become intelligent, in that intelligence mean within one thought, yourself, when you experience something, you are not going to depend your mind from your past or even the whatever you thinking that going to happen in the future because of that past. When you're able to separate your mind and experience the present moment itself, you're going to recognize something new which is you never experienced in the past. And even that moment itself allow you to drop that experience in that very moment. And that's why when someone become nice to you in this very moment, but ourselves we think, oh, this person so nice to me, then that person should be nice to me tomorrow. Oh, I am nice to this person because of that, that person should nice to me tomorrow. Because of this, you project your mind, it should be like that. So this is itself called samsara. So you bound to past, present, through the present, you bound to the future. So you becoming intelligent mean you rescue your mind from this all. But the thing is this, when it comes to sit yourself, just itself releasing your mind is impossible in the beginning. If you have the previous practice and previous that the birth where whatever you used to practice, and suddenly you can get it. But if you are very newcomer to this journey, then suddenly how you can drop this all the mental patterns. So that's why mainly we come to the faith and the devotion or the shraddha. So it is kind of like a very dangerous. Why? It's kind of like a practicing rituals. It can become silabbata paramasa. That means you come to practice rituals to find the freedom. But if you not become intelligent, what will happen? That rituals, you start to practice, look for freedom, start to tie you to that rituals, and you lose the freedom because of that rituals. I think it is clear for you. Sometimes we start to practice rituals or praying or lighting candles, even practicing meditation or doing something good or something like you wanna practice generosity, and every month you start to offer the dana to temple, and suddenly somewhere and something happen and you cannot do it that day. So if that day if you become worried, sad, unhappy, in that very moment that sadness can lead you to a mistake. In that very moment, because when you are sad, worry, unhappy, anything can happen. Even while you are driving, you thinking, oh, I didn't give dana to monk, I forget that, or I couldn't make it happen. So Like that you start to think, and then what will happen? Maybe you make an accident. And then you start to think, oh, that is the bad karma came and catch me because I didn't give the dana. Or whatever, maybe you used to light a candle, or maybe you used to pray, chant, or maybe you used to practice meditation and you didn't do it. And then the fear arises. That fear start to disturb your mind. That disturbed mind lead you to a mistake. That mistake again and again take you to another mistake. But it's nothing to do with the dana that what you practice. But in that very moment, the disturb that you had in your mind and start to create something else. But when you become wise, in that wisdom, in that wise mindset, what will happen? You start to separate each and every moment or the situation, and you perform it independently. That is the important thing. Your mind, your thoughts start to perform itself independently without depending any thoughts. So when you sit for meditation, if you able to observe without thinking about the samadhi, without thinking about the enlightenment, without thinking about the Buddha or the monk thought like this, you completely become free. With that free mind, when you start to observe, that is where your mind start to function to the highest. So it is nothing wrong with the bhakti. It's nothing wrong with the devotion. It's nothing wrong with any kind of that you have the great respect towards something. But when you sit for meditation, you have to drop that everything. Allow your mind to be free 100%. This is what we cannot do. Because we develop this dependency and we develop this that depend your mind, and we think that always when we think about it again and again and again, it's going to happen to us. Things can happen in life, but in the vipassana level, you cannot get the clear enlightenment. Because enlightenment not going to happen because of you think. It's going to happen with the clear understanding, clear comprehension. So for that, you have to develop the wisdom. To get into that wisdom, you have to make your mind free from everything. You have, when you sit for meditation, you have to sit with that the becoming free completely. Even let go the Buddha, even let go the idea of the Nibbana, let go the idea of the teachings or anything. Even you have, that's why in the surface level, even though we recognize this is inhalation, this is exhalation, in the depth, we let go that idea. There is nothing called inhalation or exhalation. So this letting go and make your mind free from name and form both allow you to become free. So in that level, you're going to experience how things come to be as they are in that very moment. That is where you understanding this change and this selflessness. So that understanding will lead you to liberation. But the thing is, our own knowledge not allow us to understand it. Why? Because our own knowledge, whatever the things we accumulated in this life, mostly we use us that to introduce us, our knowledge, our wisdom, and always represent ourselves. Because of that, it become a barrier to you. So I give her this with the very ancient example, with the story. There were 4 students went to learn Ayurvedic medicine. So the one student master fixing the muscles with the mantra. this student became the advanced, successful student in that Ayurvedic college. And using the mantra, he can bring the muscles to any bones. And then another student practiced the method and master fixing bonds. So whatever the bonds, joints, he can fix using the mantra, using his skills. And another student developed the method to bring the prana, nowadays we call energy, the energy healing, that things. So like that, he can bring energy even for a dead body. That much he was skillful. So the fourth one, and observing the nature and seeing the rivers and seeing these animals, and he used to spend the time with the nature, and he became the master for the nature and around by seeing things, and he become free from mind, and he start to become harmony with the nature, and he just go with it. So then other three students always blame to him, oh, you are very foolish, you don't master anything, you don't know anything, you cannot show any skills. So then one day these four students had the journey through a jungle to other side of the jungle, and on the way they was resting in a place, and they always try to show off with their own wisdom, and that means their wisdom become the representation of their self. So then the ego become more higher, more higher. So then while they resting, they saw a very old skeleton, animal skeleton. And then the one student, the person who the master the skill to fix the skeleton, told, I can show you something, that with my all the chanting, with my all the skills, I can fix this skeleton to its original form. So then others challenged him, and then they did, and he did it. And then he challenged to another student and told, so if you are the master to put the muscle, fix the muscles. So then if you are so skillful, try to bring the muscles to this skeleton. So then he did the chanting and show off his skills and brought the muscles. And then the tiger start to arose from through this skeleton. And then both of them now start to challenge to that other person who can give the prana or the life. And then the fourth one, who used to observe the nature and become free from its own knowledge and start to see, once the tiger have the life and going to have a great danger in front of them, and he start to tell, hey, don't do this, can't you see this tiger? And if you give the life, it going to arise from great hunger after a long time. Then what will happen? So whoever next to it going to eat. So don't do this mistake. But the person who representing the life force or the energy, and he told, no, let me show my skills. And then he start to do chanting and bring the life to this tiger. So while he chanting, the fourth student, that the three other used to make fun, and he told, let me climb the tree first, because this tiger going to become very dangerous. So the other two and start to stay around and watching this their friend chanting, and they thought he not going to make it happen. By the power of his skills, what happened? The tiger became alive. And then as the fourth one predict, the tiger jump and start to eat these three students. So this is a very ancient story, come from the Sanskrit literature, telling us how our wisdom, how our faith, how our devotion can kill us. So that is what happening everywhere today. What you believe destroy you. That is the biggest misery, because you believe something to make kind of like look for your freedom, look for your peace, harmony. But if what you believe, what you practice, if it is start to destroy you, where are you going to find the wisdom? So then it is not the wisdom itself going to, the method you go, how you have to do. That's why in the Kalama Sutta, Buddha very clearly explained. Remember, especially when you are in this spiritual path, remember, when you sit, when you pray, when you do puja, when you do offering, or whatever you do, remember, make your mind free in that very moment. Then you will see how powerful it is. If you can pray without hopes, if you can do meditation, becoming free yourself, if you can give a dana without hoping anything, or if you can practice the sila, or without thinking I going to get, or I going to become like this. So like that, if you make your mind free from the desire while you practicing in that very moment, you will see how powerful your practice become, and that become so wise, and that is what called intelligent. What is the misery? But what is the misery is, while we doing deeper, there is a layer inside us. We hold it to hope or the desire, and we think through this practice that desire going to become fulfilled. It will never going to happen. The freedom become far, far, far away from us. The only thing is the desire become more stronger, 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 stronger. So becoming intelligence means, remember, when you come to very clear practice, that clarity should be the drop the all the ideas, all the faith, all the desires, all the believing, and start to sit with the empty mind. So with that, I bless upon everyone with this practice. May all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you, may no difficulties come to you, may no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. And finally, may you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. So during this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. Sabbitiyo vajjantu sabbarogo vinazatu mate bhavattantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava. Ittavata cha me sampadam punya sampadam sabbe devanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhutanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe sattanumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vang hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.